The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, folks, hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in here. I think I'm going to partake in a beer while we're having this discussion. And the beer I have is Molson Triple X. It's a discontinued beer. They got rid of it. Kind of like the American Dream, eh? It's kind of been slowly being taken away. And especially in this apparent crisis that we're all dealing in. So if you don't mind, I'm going to have me a little bit of beer as we have this discussion. Ooh, that nice sound, huh? Might be the last beer I ever have. Who knows, the way things are going. Cheers to everyone. As some of you might know, I recently wrote an article that's posted on my website, www.jlebang.com, and you don't have to go there to read it, but for a while now, I should say that article is kind of the conglomeration of my thoughts on what's been happening and what I think is going to happen. But for a while now, I've had this little bug in my stomach, this little twinge telling me that, there may be a virus, but it's being hyped up a great deal. And yes, a lot of people are dying, and they're giving us projected numbers on what could possibly come from this virus as it spreads through every country on the planet virtually. Every major country on top of it. I mean, Russia has a little one, according to John Hopkins, but in general, the idea of this thing spreading all over, and the media's hyped it, and if it's a real event, they're right to do so, right? But we also know the media and their past malpractice. It breaks out in China, and we know that country, we can't trust anything coming out of that country. Anything. And did we really see pictures of people being sick there? I saw a lot of people being rounded up, not necessarily sick. How could I tell? Because I'm on this side of the camera. But it was used to scare us all. Scare us all. And rightfully so, our government, President Trump, took some early travel bans from those specific countries. Now, they brought in a bunch of people who were infected that were on cruise ships and other places, which might have been a bad choice. In fact, I thought it was a terrible choice at the time. But it wasn't my choice, so since I'm a nobody and I don't have people's lives hanging in the balance with my every decision, the humanity in a person could say, okay, let's bring them home and we'll fix them. But it brought it here. Obviously, that was one of the reasons why it's here. Some other reasons is people traveling from other countries. Now, why we didn't shut it down earlier, I don't know. Okay? But I was just listening to Roy Potter's video. He's one of them YouTubers that I occasionally reference here. Remember, I used to be a really big YouTuber. I used to follow or subscribe to a whole lot of channels. I'm now dwindled down to all these people who did commentary on the same types of things I cover and some of the more tinfoily hat stuff. I would, I used to be subscribed to a whole lot, like Photo Helix, Monograph, what's John, the prepper, I forgot his name. Well, I've kind of knocked all those guys off because eventually for my own reasons, I just felt either the channels weren't good information or the people weren't worth following for whatever reason. There was like a lot of nonsense going on there. But now that I've dwindled it down, I'm watching Roy Potter, and I like having him or getting his opinion because he's been in the military and he has a perspective. And Roy, if you're watching, thanks for all the videos you do. I don't agree with everything Roy says, but who does? So there's no point of fighting over certain things we don't like. Okay, and I made comments on his videos, but I follow him. I follow what's it, Bubba, the guy who does the bunker report. And sorry, bro, I can't remember your name. But I do him because he's a good source of information. When he's popping out videos, he's popping out a lot of them, and they're full of info. And I don't particularly listen to what he has to say, but I take those links and I move on, right? Some people are good sources of info, and whether you believe them or not, when they say you need open eye, I just think you need a wide range in your thinking there as far as taking in information. Then you can weed it out. Don't let somebody else weed it out for you. Take in as much info as you can and then weed it out yourself. And then the growing awareness, but they're all a little different. Growing awareness is he's a little more Q follower, so I like, and I'm, as you know, I'm not a big Q fan at all. But I listen to him because he at least keeps me informed on kind of what's going on the Q side of things. So I don't really have to pay attention to that. And well, again, Roy's come around to this. I don't know if the other two have put. I know the growing awareness. He's a big Trump guy, and so I don't think he's ever going to be swayed. But Roy Potter was, I don't want to call him rant, but it was kind of a mini rant about how things are going on in the country, right? Well, there's National Guard being deployed for a virus that virus, what is it really doing? We know some people who are sick, but do they have the virus? And those virus tests that were sent out, can we really trust the accuracy of those tests to say it's coronavirus? We have to rely on other people. We have to rely on the government, other people. And a lot of these people, and I know there's some of you out there that can't stand it because it's the deep state or swine. You can't believe that there are people that are corrupt in the government. Some people call them the deep state. Some people call them the swamp. There's the Illuminati. There's this and there's all those things. What they are people who are not there for the best interest of the country. They're there for the best interest of whoever they've pledged an oath to. That's not that rules above the United States. Sometimes that's just themselves. Greed and the will to take power over people is an unstoppable force. We have not been able to quell that mindset from the earth. After all these years, after Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, all these genocidal maniacs, we still can't get rid of these people who want power over people. With that being said, Royce blaming Trump for the National Guard and the states for taking action like curfewing or closing down restaurants. It's not, Roy, that's not Trump who's doing it. He's actually, for the most part, I see it a little different on Trump, and I'm not the biggest supporter of Trump. He's letting his experts handle it which is smart because he obviously, and it's no fault of his own, who out there is really an expert on epidemics and viruses? That's not his forte. He's a businessman. That doesn't mean he can't run the country. He just puts the people who are in charge of all those ABC agencies, he puts them in, gives them some spotlight, which, dang, why shouldn't he? I mean, other presidents hardly ever did that unless they were patting him on the back for something. Trump's putting him out there face first. These are the people working for you. So I don't see the problem. Now, those people where the problem is those people are still part of the deep state, or some of them are. So how do we know he's being fed accurate information? And I'm telling you, on this level, ain't none of us know what's real and what's not anymore. Is there a virus or isn't there a virus? They say there's a virus. There looks to be a lot of people being, affected by this. But with the China videos, and that could have just been leaked out there to scare us. The China videos were seeing people who looked absolutely healthy being dragged off. Or people on a subway train just being cordoned off by the police, beaten if they try to move, and then they're being squirted down with stuff. That's there to scare you. And really, if you think about it, how did those things leak out with the Chinese government as strict as it is? And whatever's in Italy and Europe or wherever, they're taking away, incrementally taking away all of our freedoms. They're doing it nice and slow. And in the States here, it's pretty much the individual governors that are doing those incremental moves. In fact, we might want to keep an eye on them because they could eventually turn out to be part of that deep state, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. The people who want to run everybody's lives and rule, they want to have a one world government type thing. We should keep our eyes out. Now, should Trump do more? Well, yeah. Him and our famous governor, Whitmer, up here in Michigan, are having a little tweeting battle, right? She's blaming, I love it, because she's blaming him for not having the government prepared for her state. Where you been? Where have you been, Gretchen? Okay, you're doing your thing, but all you're doing is locking us down. That's all you're doing. We can't go to fast. You're slowly taking away our freedoms. What's going to be next? Guns? Because in Roy Potter's video, he was talking about there's at least 2 cities in the country trying to pull that crap. Taking away guns and alcohol. So my article that I mentioned, 300 minutes ago or whatever it was, my article itself was called The Perfect Hegelian Storm. And whether this virus is real or not, a bioweapon, that doesn't matter anymore. It's being used by as much of the powers that be that are out there that can control every little aspect that they can control. It's not Trump unleashing the National Guard in some of these states. And because he may be a bit ignorant about the subject of viruses and pandemics, I'm sorry, as versed as I am in the subjects that I'm versed in, I'm not an expert. I've been learning as everybody's been learning. Who has, right? Only the scientists and the biochemists and those people who follow that stuff. The military people, I'm sure, have a division that know about that stuff too. He had an admiral on in the latest briefing. So Roy, now I don't think, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, that Trump per se is doing things like curbing our freedoms. It's the governors that are doing it. Trump's allowing it to happen. And maybe, I don't know. Now we can go back to the guy watching the Growing Awareness. And sorry, bro, I don't know your name. I don't think I ever got it, but that's okay. We can go to that whole other side that's maybe Trump's allowing this stuff to happen so that the deep state, the swamp, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, The coup, the people who are in the coup or the next phase of the coup, they're all using this. The problem was there, a virus. They knew the people would have a reaction to it, and the solution has been to curb your freedoms. Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going?
Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than an iReader convention.
Now, on the other hand, if it's a real deal, if it's the bad thing, which you have to be precautionary as a person. You don't want a real virus that is that as deadly to the old people as it is. That's what really gets me, you young people who have no regards for the people who were here before you and who built the world for you. It may not be the best world, but I'm telling you, the people before didn't leave us a great one either. And we're trying to fix it as we go. That's what each generation does. We try to fix it. We have a lot of people in power that, well, make that pretty hard to move forward to fix it in the good ways. But I'm telling you, here in America at least, we've done more good for the world, and we've made this a better place than any other place. And this world is better because America is here. Now, there's a lot of bad things we've done. Fine, okay, but don't disregard people who have been here. They've paid their taxes. They've paid their dues, like myself. Who, if we have what I'm fearing we're going to have with the economy, and I think we're gonna all lose our shirts again. This will be the third for me in 12 years economic collapse. 2 by the governments and 1 by an ex-wife. All right, I'm a little tired of it. So when you young people disregard us older people, we've been through the mud a little bit. All right, and I know this is all over the place. But there's a whole lot to say. I don't even need notes for this. There's a whole lot to say. Because the behavior of the people is really annoying. If there is a virus, if this is all really happening, see, we don't know. And because we don't know, we should take precautions. I'm not saying cower away. No, I'm saying take precautions. And if this virus is for real and it takes out the old people, like it looks like it is, don't be a jerk and get mad because they're going to have to stay home for a couple of days or 2 weeks or whatever. Big deal. Do you know the hardships of the generations before you? Did you even bother to look into those generations at all? To see what they went through? I can tell you my grandparents, they lived through the Great Depression, World War II. You guys, finally, unfortunately, I should say. Unfortunately. But we've staved it off for nearly 100 years, okay? We staved it off. It's more like 80 years. We gave the world relatively a pretty peaceful place. There was some turmoil along the way, but nothing like world wars, nothing like major pandemics. We've had and nothing like an economic collapse. We're facing a depression, a pandemic. So we're facing like the Great Depression, the Black Plague, and the stock market crash all at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. So please, chill yourself out, okay? Enough of you worried about you going out and hanging out with your friends a little bit. Grow up a little bit. You're going to have to real soon because it's going to get really real. Especially if my fears come to fruition. And I really hope they don't. I'd rather be wrong. But, man, It looks pretty bad out there, folks. It looks, and it doesn't, see, the news doesn't get better, right? We just saw on the John Hopkins that there were 1,000 more deaths across the planet in like 2 days. See, that's no big deal, right? To the 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 1,000. Yeah. Get rid of a few, bunch of old people, right? And some people middle-aged, right? That's okay. That's good. The world can be young again, right? Nah. See, that's the problem with the world. So many people have tried to stay young. They haven't grown up. Well, there's going to be some growing up to do real soon. So, might be having my last beer. You don't know. You have no idea what's coming tomorrow. The news cycle is so fast. Things happen at such a rapid rate. And that's another thing. We're being bombarded constantly with information that we don't know heads or tails. It's a good beer. Molson Triple X, they discontinued it, so I don't think showing you it would get me in any trouble, but maybe it will. I don't know. The hell with it. Let them come get me during the coronavirus scare of 2020. I don't want to laugh about it, but it's almost like we've been had. They used the boogie woogie virus to get us all scared. We all separated ourselves. Now it's going to be easy to clean up the dissidents. Real easy. I mean, there's still some people, and that's who they'll get first, right? The people who aren't smart enough to stay home and just prepare a little bit while this is all going on. One, to stop something that might be spreading. And two, just to prepare something in case something else goes wrong. You get it, folks? We're not just facing one crisis right now. There's three, and then with all that, all they need to do is throw in a little bit of war there. It is so ripe for war right now. Countries are going to be desperate. Maybe to wait till after the virus has done its thing. Because I'm not saying a war is going to break out tomorrow. Economic collapse, pandemic. Martial is in some like New York. How can you not call that martial law? They call it a quarantine, they call it containment, whatever. You got National Guard marching through the streets. Yeah, I know they're supposed to be able to do that and the certain things, but over a virus. And I know I've been talking about it since the very beginning. So if the whole thing is some kind of BS thing, or it wasn't as bad, I'm going to feel terrible about it. But I couldn't keep the information from you because from the very beginning, folks, I told you we don't know what's going on. We don't. We have the malpractice media getting information from the government. The government then was getting information from China. Third-hand information through three sources we can't necessarily trust. In fact, for the most part, we can't trust any of them. They knew that. We knew that. We bought into it. Now they got everybody scared. Of course, when Trump put in the damn national emergency, it set off a bunch of executive orders. So yeah, that could be trouble as well. Trump almost allowed it to happen. So, Roy, in that regard, yes. But the actions are primarily being taken by the governors. When it comes to the National Guard and all the curfews and you can't go to restaurants and stuff. Maybe that's part of the plan. So he's free from that. But the way things are going, are we ever going to get to an election? The way things are going, I don't know. I have no idea. Would it even be fair to have an election after all this? Even though we're supposed to, right? To anybody. Because you can be mad at Trump for not doing whatever fast enough or whatever. Okay. You can be one of those people that hate Trump are going to blame him for everything. You can do that. But it's not like if this is a real event. If this is a real event, he could do anything to stop this outside of doing a couple things that I said in the beginning, and that was don't let the people in from the boats. Let them, they're stuck out there. Sorry. I even mentioned Alcatraz. Stick them on Alcatraz and don't let them come off until you're 100% sure. It might suck for them. But now, look what's happening. Apparently, the virus is spreading. Although, even though I know a few people who are sick, doesn't mean they're necessarily sick with the coronavirus. And my advice, because I tend to be leery of government, unfortunately, okay? I understand the purpose of limited government, but in general, when the government is trying to force you to do something, or they're trying to be very suggestive, I'm leery of it, okay? And I'm all for everybody, staying home during this time period. Told you weeks ago, and I want to big thanks to really all the people who sent me nice messages and thank yous, and on my recent post on Facebook, they affirmed that I was telling people long ago to get themselves prepared for something like this. So I want to thank all of you who chimed in. It was really, really nice. It was the first time in a long time that I actually had some really good positive feedback, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's coming through in a crisis. So, but that tends to bring people together, and people start to realize especially when the malpractice media just keeps repeating the same BS all the time. Notice the last show, I barely even talked about what was in the malpractice media. I told you how to get prepared in case they shut it down. And apparently we still have time. Because they're not ready to shut it down yet. Not yet. It's close. Here in Michigan, something like San Francisco shut down now. So I'm sorry the people in San Francisco or any other areas that are already shut down. That's not exactly what I meant. I'm just talking about the whole country's not shut down quite yet. But I keep telling my friends here in Michigan, watch what's going on in Ohio, because we're only a day behind them. Just about everything that was done in Ohio was done here a day later. But it's the governors, not Trump, that is doing it. Trump allowed it to happen, and maybe he didn't understand all the executive orders that are in place, but that would be his team not doing their job. President Trump, if you want to give me a job, I'll make sure you know what kind of executive orders will take place when you declare these things. See, I would have warned against it, per se, because it wouldn't have given the governors the chance to do this. They wouldn't have had the mandate. Now they can do whatever they want. Some people would say, well what about New York? Because that was technically one of the first, right? But your state can declare a national emergency. That's one thing, or a state emergency. But once the president declares a national emergency, so many other things kick in. And have you guys noticed how much FEMA is being talked about right now? FEMA, one of the most dreaded agencies to all what I would say the alternative media. I can't think of one alt media personality that trusts FEMA in any regard. Look at what we had during Katrina. Look at what we have every time they go somewhere. And with all these executive orders that we spoke about in the last hour, so I won't rehash them. If you want to find out what some of the executive orders that took effect as soon as Trump declared the national emergency, go to episode 374 of the John Lebang Show. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on the website. And it's about, I don't know, I think it's in the second segment. You can even, I think there's an individual video on YouTube. Although I don't remember what it was called. I put up so many videos that I can't remember. And I only give these, I don't go for the clickbait titles. I hate those. I just give you a basic what it's about. It's up to you to take the time to listen if you're curious enough. I'm not going to clickbait anybody. Because I don't want artificial numbers. I want real people coming for real reasons.
Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Jim's Tuxedo and Menswear is your one-stop shop for tuxedos and men's quality suits. We go the extra mile to make sure your tux or suit is the perfect fit. Our huge selection is second to none in the state.
Looking good.
Outstanding customer service.
And we're located on Dix Toledo in Southgate. Call today, 734-285-3253.
Jim's Tuxedo and Menswear is the place to be.
Yeah.
Thanand for coming to Jim's Tuxedos and Menswear.
You know I had to come to the best.
That's right.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
There's just a big discussion on Facebook about this possibly being some kind of bioweapon, and China and some other, and the U.S. are going to, go into a war over it or whatever. That could possibly be true. We don't know. All I know is the malpractice media has not once asked at least, maybe you guys can find a clip, but I haven't been able to find it. They have not asked one time, could this have been a bioweapon? Mr. President, I'm asking you. I don't have your audience, sir. I don't have a White House pass. You don't respond to my tweets ever. So, Mr. President, if you happen to get this, since the malpractice media refuses to ask this question, let me do it. By chance, is this version of the coronavirus a bioweapon? Yes or no? I mean, you might be able to say, I don't know. That would actually be fair. That would probably be better than yes or no. You say no and it turns out it is, you're going to look stupid. You say yes and it's not, you're going to look stupid. I don't know is a perfectly good answer, Mr. President. You should do that more often in your speeches. I mean, you're getting pretty good at it where you just call in the person that needs to answer that. But instead of rolling out your speech another 4 minutes because you're trying to find a way to get to that person, just say, hey, I don't know. Let me turn it over to so-and-so. All the people you've brought in, those spokespeople, been doing a great job. I'm not a big fan of Pence, but he's been doing a pretty good job through answering questions and stuff. I'll tell you what, if Trump wins the second term, people are going to remember that Pence did such a great job during this crisis that I think they're going to like him. He's going to be the George Bush of the Reagan of the Trump administration, when like George Bush with Trump with Reagan. Man, I'm getting all confused. That is, if Trump can get reelected. Although I'll tell you, folks, let's be honest. There's no way, if this is some kind of naturally occurring event, that it's Trump's fault, and this should not hurt him. You linguini spines out there. If you were for Trump beforehand, you can't put it into bumbling Biden. So you might as well just keep your vote for Trump either way, if that's what you were going to do. The economy's crashing because there's a bunch of greedy son of a guns up there that can pull all their money out because they don't want to lose a couple dollars. I mean, they only have trillions and trillions of dollars rolling out their ears. They don't want to lose a couple dollars. So then your 401k plan goes in the crapper because those people got jittery. When they know once this thing passes, it'll be fine. But they got their money while they could, right? Unless that's another thing. Maybe it was supposed to crash. Maybe the virus was supposed to happen. Maybe martial law was part of the plan. Again, folks, there's not enough information for any of us to glean anything, and whether you're hard over here or hard over there, enough of it. You're believing numbers, you're believing stuff that's being provided to you by people that I myself can prove, for the most part, have fed you some kind of BS. Just like the BS that 4% of people roughly, remember it was like 0.2 and then it was 1, it kept rising. Well, according to the Johns Hopkins, and we covered this in the last episode, it's about 8% of the people whose case is finished. That means they have either recovered or they died. The other people in that giant group, that's a third number. That's who's still ongoing. We have a completed case. 8% of completed cases, according to Johns Hopkins. Little chart there on their website, are dying. That's not a small number. Just for you young lads out there and young ladies out there, I want you to just write down, take a pen, or maybe get your phone out because you don't know what a pen is, and type in 10 of your friends, 10 of your family members in a list there. Just it's real easy. Just type them out. Now pick one who you want to not be on that list anymore, because we're getting really close to that number. One of those 10 people are going to be gone. Maybe that will trigger something in your brain to be a little smarter about this. And again, I have my doubts that this virus, well, let me rephrase. Whatever this virus is, it's being used to implement things that they couldn't get away with if this virus wasn't here. Like telling us we can't go to a restaurant and mingle in a bar. We can't. It's being used for that. And if that's not curtailing the people enough, if they don't think those measures are providing the proper response they want, they'll curtail something more. And they will keep curtailing them. Now, if Trump wants to be a leader, he needs to start sticking up for the little people and say, wait a minute, whoa. But you see, when he tried, I want the people out there who are now, who were for him but now are mad at him, he tried and he was lambasted again. And then those deep staters, or those career bureaucrats in the CDC, in the FDA, all those other agencies, those people that have been there, the leadership, told him it was bad, it was bad, it was bad. And I'm telling you, and this is no slight on Trump, no matter what you think about him, ain't no way Trump was that versed. He was up there the one day talking, I know they're surprised. He read some stuff before they showed up. That's what he did. I know I do that. It's called research. I catch up on something before I talk about it, okay? And if I'm going to have experts with me, then I don't want to sound like an idiot. So what I'll do is I'll just read up a little bit on the subject so I can at least understand them when they're saying things. So I don't just look like, what does that mean? So yeah, Trump had to turn to those people. The problem is, can we trust those people? And can we trust the media? Well, can we trust China's numbers? Well, I'll leave that up to you, folks. That's why I told you, my listeners, last episode, how to prepare, how to get yourself ready. I also cheered you on a little bit by saying, hey, you're ahead of everybody else. While everybody else was running around the grocery store with a possible virus, choking out everybody, potentially infecting everybody, because it takes up to 14 days, folks. So all of you people that ran out on Friday, 2 Fridays from now, we're going to find out something, if that was a good idea or not. Hey, I had to go out early on Monday, because I wanted to be able to report to you. And that's what I'll do now. So when I went out Monday really early, Walmart was closed. 24-hour Walmart was closed. That means they were probably restocking. Meijer Thrifty Acres was open. They had lots of barren aisles, but they still were open. And they had a good amount of, not great, but they still had fresh oranges and, a lot of fresh foods, lots of frozen foods. So that's good. But the toilet paper, hand sanitizer, those canned items, which is, folks, that's why those people panicked. They didn't know what to buy. So they thought about their butt and their hands. That's what they thought about. It just makes you wonder how often people go to the bathroom or how much TP they really use for them to want to purchase that much. That was insanity, folks. Insanity. Even in my purchase, I made my last official purchase on Wednesday, and I was 2 days ahead of everybody because I knew this was it. People were going to panic real soon, so I got what I had to. Then when I went out Sunday, I checked out Meijer's. I think I bought a box of crackers because I just was going there to see. There wasn't a lot of people. I just wanted to see what was really, because you can't believe crap. It's so unfortunate that we have a bunch of people that want to give you clickbait and just like my stuff and that even the mainstream malpractice media. That's why they're showing you all the panic and all this other stuff. That's why they love watching the stock market go down. The president is there making a speech, and they got the stock market clicker up and down, because they want you to see it going down while he's talking or going, they don't really like to see it going up, but because it's constantly going down, they want you to be in fear. And that is the virus itself. Fear. COVID-19 equals fear. Because so far, fear and oppression have been the main villains of all this. I shouldn't call it oppression quite yet, but it's curtailment. Yes, we know there are cases, supposed cases, and they're happening. The governments are using this. They're not just trying to help us. You notice the legislation that they're trying to push through. They're taking dictatorial powers, edicts from governors in democratic states. Edicts are being dictated. Now, we should take a head count of all these early states because eventually all the states are going to follow suit, but it's the early states we should take a head count and see who these people are and keep an eye on them. Because apparently they had less of a problem becoming a dictatorial governor than some of the other ones that used restraint. Eventually, I think the whole country is going to be under some sort of lockdown. But again, we're looking at not only an economic collapse, a pandemic, self-quarantining. People are going to go hungry if this lasts too long. I know they're telling us they're refilling things. That might be another reason why they're telling us to stay home. And then this talk that, why are restaurants still being allowed to have carry-out? See, things don't make sense because some parts of the economy aren't shutting down. If it's so bad and the corporations have been warned, why are corporations still open for business? I saw Dunham's fully loaded Why dummies were in Dunham's today. What was so important today that you had to go to Dunham's? I don't care what sale they had. There was no way a Dunham's parking lot should be full. I wasn't going to go in there. If there's a virus, why the heck would you want to be in some kind of crowded location like Dunham's? Am I allowed to say these businesses? I don't know. That might be bad advertising for them, right? And if it's so bad, why aren't businesses shutting down? For the sake of their measly employees who make, just above minimum, 11, 10, 12 bucks an hour, right? All the important people in the companies, all the people that can stay home are staying home, right? Those are all the important people. But the people on the front lines, no, they got to still be out there in the mess. So how bad is it, right? Right? You got to wonder. Is it bad enough to send everybody home that can stay home, that can work from home? Except for the grunts that got to be on the front line? Keep them out there. Keep them exposed. Because we got to get those dollars. We got to bring them dollars in. Got to bring them dollars in. It's so freaking important. Yeah, I'm kind of grumpy. I'm kind of grumpy at the whole situation. Because I'm telling you, we're like just a sprinkle away from getting a war on. What else is there? Well, you know what? I'll tell you what else is. There's some conspiracies out there, right? I'll tell you what else could happen. Don't. I mean, now we're getting a little tinfoil-y. I got my regular hat on, but just pretend I've got tinfoil on this sucker. You might want to get some too for this one, folks. But don't be surprised, because I'm not going to put anything past them, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to. At this point, I almost don't want to say it. I almost don't want to say it, but let's go. I mean, I haven't drank that much, so don't think I'm drunk or anything. But there's a theory out there that they're trying to get us all put away in our little homes here, kind of lock us down, because there's some big old aliens coming, or maybe an asteroid. Don't be surprised if aliens show up right now, folks. Don't be surprised. I mean, I know a lot of you crap your pants, right? But they're throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at us. We talked about Agenda 21. We talked about all these things in the past, right? I just think the powers that be, who are trying to take advantage of this crisis, are ready to throw everything at us. They were waiting for an opportunity. They're going to throw it all at us. Maybe Trump's part of it. Maybe Trump's the reason they're throwing it all at us, because it's all going to come down if they don't. I don't know. I'm just sitting here and... so don't, and I'm not saying an alien's coming, folks. I don't know, but don't be surprised if that crap's thrown at us too, because at this point, just about everything that they can throw at us, they're gonna do it, because they know we're off balance right now. We're on shaky ground, and they know just the right push, and they'll have us. They'll have us. And what do I mean by that? We'll capitulate. We'll give in. We'll surrender. We're like, okay, we give up. Do whatever you got to do. It's almost there here in the States. Don't you get it? It is so close to say, okay, we gave up. Some boogie-woogie virus is coming to get us. Please, Governor, do something about it. So don't be surprised. Whatever's coming, they're going to keep throwing it at us, because they're going to use this opportunity to push in as much as they can. And if they think they can get away with it, they're going to do it, folks. So be vigilant, my friends. Don't let them... They're going for your freedom. When there's talk about taking away guns over this? Over this? What, are you kidding me? Are you worried? These are the smartest people in the world, right? These are the people we all rely on to run the world properly, and they never get one problem done right. Everything's one big fit, and it always ends up. This is their only end result, and this should tell you a lot. It curtails our freedom. We had less freedom after 9/11. We had less freedom after the last crash. We got a little bit back in the last few years for whatever reason. If you're a pro-Trumper, you're going to say it was that. If you're not a pro-Trumper, I don't know why.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes. Absolute Skin and Body Care, located in Livonia, Michigan. If you're in need of laser hair removal, skin care, laser tattoo removal, or laser hair regrowth, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Their phone number is 248-533-0448. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Give them a call. You're listening to the John Lebang Show. It's huge. Now I got to tweet about it. Apparently, there's so much ammo that has been bought that these places that sell ammo, and we have a few here in my hometown, they're telling people who are going in there to buy ammo, you can't buy ammo. Absolutely no ammo to buy. Now, if you buy a gun, you can buy one box of ammo to go with the gun. But what is that going to do? Now, I know their idea is that they can't sell guns without ammo. I get it. But why are we already, don't put it past the government, as they done with the masks. Now, I want you to listen to this. They admitted that today or yesterday. I can't remember. There's been so many of these press conferences that they're starting to get jumbled together. Again, there's too much information flowing that we don't know heads or tails. But they said that they're buying up all these masks, okay? We won't be able to get them. They're even asking companies like road construction companies to donate masks to hospitals. And that takes it out of their hands and gives it to hospitals, okay? They're wanting to buy all the masks. Somebody, and I don't know how to do this exactly. I guess I could learn real quick because I'm a pretty good researcher. But if anybody out there, look into if the government is purchasing lots and lots of rounds of weapons or of ammo. Now, they made a huge purchase some years back. I remember reporting that. But these things are all kind of lock in together. Click, 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 1, 2, and 3. And if we can kind of put this together, we can start cleaning or cutting through what's being told to us and kind of getting a better picture. Because there's no way the government can tell you the full truth, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You can't get the full truth, because if they told you the full truth, you'd be in panic. If they told you, yep, we're coming, it's martial law, you'd panic. Yep, the virus is horrible and it's going to kill 60 billion people and we're sure of it. There's nothing you can do. And even though they've even hinted at some of those, not those numbers, but they've hinted at specific numbers, that's all to get you scared. That's all crap. And then we had the idea of 2 weeks, then it went to May, then, now we're into July and August when we're locked down. This will be forever if we don't watch out, folks. This will be forever. Our rights are going to be curtailed all over a virus. The virus may be as bad as they're saying. Their numbers actually suggest it's worse than what they're saying. Okay? But still, all this freedom curtailed, is that because the general population is too stupid to stay home? Well, sure. That's actually a large portion of the population. When you see a bunch of dummies over at Dunham's. Now I know why they were at Dunham's, though. They're all trying to buy guns and ammo and stuff. Trying to all buy guns and ammo. So yeah, I get it now. I'm actually not so mad at them. It's a little late. You should have had your gun. You should have had your ammo and everything by now. You're only going to be able to get groceries for sure for another couple days until this is how it's happening. And now it's stepped away from Trump's side as much, and he's let the governors handle the incremental removal of your rights. So if Trump's a good guy, he better get on it quick. He better, because the swamp looks like it's taking advantage of the situation. Like they always do, let's be honest. And it came right after, like almost immediately after the impeachment. They knew the impeachment was, I'm just saying, we knew for weeks the impeachment wasn't going to do anything. And this started right around the time we were like, let's get this impeachment over, and they're biding their time. They're biding their time. Did somebody know something? I'm not saying they did, but there's a lot of questions that aren't quite being answered. And we're heading into super, super dangerous waters, folks. When governors can, without even actually saying it, they don't have to say martial law just yet. They just have to say, you can't go here. You can't go there. Kid Rock is defying it, and now I'm like, you know what? The hell with it. The hell with it. I said, go ahead, Kid Rock. I was actually going to comment about him in a different light until I was like, you know what? Whatever. Because this is no longer about a virus anymore. Sure, the virus is out there and going to do its thing, but now our rights are being infringed by all these governors across the country. Trump's not doing a whole lot to stop them. So either he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation on the domestic side when it comes to our rights is what I mean. Maybe he's been fed a bunch of stuff like we all have about this virus, and maybe he's up to speed on that like the rest of us are. We've kind of all caught up except for the dummies out there. I'm fired up, folks. I am so fired up because I'm watching my country disintegrate over a boogie-woogie virus that we can't even see. Even the Trumpster said this is a invisible enemy. Just in time for the Invisible Man, isn't it funny? That just comes out on the market, right? It's just a remake out of nowhere. Huh. Awful coincidence, folks. All these things, just coincidence, right? There's nothing nefarious going on at all. Guys at work were wondering why I was mad today. Why would I be mad? Practically my entire adult life, outside of maybe a couple of years in the last few years, I've been living through one form of recession or another. We had the recession after 9/11. We got out of that. Then we got into the bigger recession, which should have been called a depression, but whatever. It was the Great Recession of 2008 and 9. And now here we go again. Trump's trying to calm. It'll all come back. It'll all come back. Bro, if you don't get a handle on the governors, it ain't ever going to come back. Because they're going to destroy your economy as much as anyone else. Or some virus. So I don't know if he's complicit, if he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation. I don't know. But it's frustrating. And we have a governor here. She's been in office just like this long. And here she goes. Like she knows what the frick is best to do. When it all should have been, for real, it should have all been shut down at the border, right? We let a bunch of people in. Maybe I'm a meanie. I wouldn't have let them all in. I would have said, you know what? You're overseas, you dumbasses. You're a bunch of dumbasses. There's disease and all that crap out there. You want a tough crap, deal with it. But no, compassion let it in, and now, for whatever reason, whether it's real, it's not, whatever. See, I am not trying to diminish. In fact, I've been covering it. And this whole time, this little tiny thing, and I would mention it on the show. This whole time, I'd be like, there's all this, we got to worry about this, because these buggers that run things really like to fucking take advantage of things when there's a crisis. Never let a good crisis go to waste, folks.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.